to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. I'm coach, of course, one half of the pod, Jelani Brown. I got my co-host with me again today. Thaddeus Bell, how you doing, bro?
What's good, man? Back at it again. Another weekly show ready to talk some football. Got the World Series. We got basketball starting. It's a good time to be talking sports, so let's get to it.
For sure. Like you said, World Series, that's the first thing we're going to talk about. Of course, your Atlanta Braves. I got to root for them when my Mets are no longer in the playoffs. So definitely hoping for a championship brought here to Atlanta. Like I said, that's going to be one of the first topics that we talk about. Of course, I'm going to talk some early NBA players and teams that's surprising, both good and bad. Also talk about the Deshaun situation. Then we'll get into college football. Of course, it's week 9. Playoffs are coming very, very soon. And then NFL, we're about at the halfway point as well. So without further ado, though, before we get into all of that, definitely want to introduce, been working on a few things, me, Thad, and then Justin, of course, a big part of Off the Ball Network, helped a lot of us with our intros, and he helped us with ours as well. So, of course, wanted to debut it, wanted to do it in a little bit different way, but definitely proud of the work that we put in to put this together. And without further ado, like I said, here it goes.
Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win!
Don't you open your mouth about the best, or I'm gonna shut it for you real quick. LOB.
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Lewis gets it to LeBron for 3 for the win. Yes! LeBron James at the buzzer!
Pass is caught! Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
What was your mindset when you stepped in the batter's box?
Go yard. I mean, I'm a pitcher. Why not swing as hard as I can? I got nothing to lose.
It's nothing to man above. Don't put you in situations that you can't handle. Instead of saying, why me? They're saying this is what he want me to do. And, Cleveland! This is for you!
The way we approach the game, the same way we approach life. You do the right thing. You make the right play. Make the right play. And in life, it's the same thing. What do you feel in your heart is the right thing to do? And you do that. It seems so simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the hardest things to do. And I think it's just that.
Welcome to
What?
The game.
Me.
To me.
All right. Like I said, new intro. Been our intro for our audio, but definitely had to make a video form. Appreciate you, Justin. Again, shout out to you and everybody at Off the Ball Network for helping me put that together. But like I said, without further ado, gonna hop right into the show. First things first, we're gonna talk about is our Braves. World Series is here. Braves took the first game, surprisingly, high score of 6-2. And then, of course, last night, things didn't really go into our favor. They lost, 7-2, I believe, to Houston Astros. So now, of course, it is a 1-1 series heading back here to Atlanta. But, again, they did what they were supposed to do. They stole the game. And, like I said, they should be ready to come back home and get things done. So, something or nothing. Like I said, it's typically our first thing that we like to get done and do. Atlanta winning a World Series. Like I said, we talk about the game, of course, but just what, I guess, something or nothing, what would a World Series win mean to the city of Atlanta? We've come close a lot. Last year, Hawks got to Eastern Conference Finals, possibly could have got to the finals if some people weren't hurt. Falcons blew one away in 2016, and those were pretty much our only opportunities in the last few years. But and even the Braves, they should have probably won maybe 1 or 2 within these last 2 to 3 years as well. But something or nothing, Atlanta winning the World Series and over a Houston team that, of course, was accused of cheating all those years ago and have made it back to the World Series as well. So what do you think about it, Thad?
It's definitely something. I feel like the city needs this. Y'all have gone through hell. This is the only Atlanta team that I'm a fan of. I'm not a Falcons fan or a Hawks fan. So it just would mean a lot. The Falcons that loss was awful. The the Hawks kind of got the city believing, and the Braves are right here to tip everything off. Like you said, the Braves should have won. I think they should have won last year in 2019. How the matchup shaped up, they would have beat the Nationals. So I could have said they should have been in the World Series the last 3 years. But it's definitely something. You got people that don't even like baseball. Go to a baseball game watching the game. So it's definitely something. They got the support of the city, and if they win, when they win, she's gonna go crazy. I might even go home for a couple of days. So it's definitely something. And I just think, like you said, Braves stole home field, so that's all they can ask for. And hopefully the crowd's electric these next 3 games, because the last 3 home games of the season. So hopefully they can bring it home.
Exactly. Like I said, and one thing about, like I said, I think the Braves team is probably the Atlanta team that has the most, besides maybe Atlanta United, maybe they can probably be up there with them. But I think the Braves team has the most loyal and the most camaraderie fans out of all the Atlanta teams. The Hawks are starting to maybe get a little bit of that. Falcons fans probably won't have much of that in the next few years, but I think the Braves fans are probably the best fans out of all of our Atlanta teams. And like you said, I think they're definitely gonna have that building rocking. SunTrust Park is or was it Truist Park now? Yeah, Truist Park is definitely a fun place to be at. Like I said, it's gonna be crowded, it's gonna be packed. Last 3 home games of the year, like you said. And the guys are rolling. Like I said, the bats are rolling as well. Unfortunately, star pitcher Charlie Morton fractured his leg. He got hit with the ball and then injured it later on in the next inning. But I feel like they called up somebody I think that's capable of stepping in his place and at least helping along with the bullpen to cool down the bats of the Houston Astros as well. And then, like I said, maybe hopefully taking it home. But like you said, they did what they need to do. They took that one game, and it's definitely going to mean something to the city of Atlanta. I can't wait for the parade. Hopefully there is a parade. Like I said, I know a lot of people are hoping for that. Like I said, we just need some type of pick-me-up, especially after the last few years of being memes across the internet, whether it's baseball, basketball, or football. We've definitely been one of the laughing stocks of the sports world. So hopefully they're able to turn the tides, bring a win home, and then, like I said, it gets the ball rolling maybe with some other sports here as well. But definitely would mean something to the city, and hopefully it happens, man. Like I said, I'm a Mets fan, but gotta root for the Braves, hometown squad, when the Mets are out of the playoffs, and then obviously I just want to see the city winning. So hopefully it happens. Hopefully it does, man. But next thing, something to nothing. Early NBA teams and player struggles. I know both of us are fans of LeBron, so by default we kind of root for the Lakers, or at least watch them. They 2-2, gave up a big lead last lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And just haven't looked that great. LeBron has set out the last 2 games. Expecting him, maybe to come back on Friday. There's a few other teams and players that's been struggling as well. I'm gonna read some off to you, but first I'm gonna let you go and kind of just talk about what do you think about some of these teams that we thought may either be undefeated or that we have high hopes of possibly either making conference finals or NBA finals, struggling early out the gate. Even the Nets are one as well. Harden's been struggling, even with the foul call, not being able to get to the free throw line as much, with his turnovers as well. So what do you think about some of just the early NBA teams' struggles, and maybe even some of the early teams that have had success that you may not have expected to?
I can start off with the teams that are having success. I expected Golden State to pick it up over time. Over the past couple of years, their roster has been just not healthy. They have a lot of young players that I think have some potential, and they only have Clay back, but they seem to, be playing some better basketball. So I'm not surprised by them that much. The Lakers, nobody expected this to work immediately. If it can work with anybody, it can work with LeBron. But Russ is a different type of cat, and adjusting to his play style and him mixing in with all these other different type of guys takes some time. So I'm not really stressing about the Lakers. And LeBron, all his team, even in Cleveland, when he came back to Cleveland, they would be awful at the trade deadline and then make some moves, hopping at the 6 or 7 seed and run the table. So I'm not really worried about them. It'll take some time. Russ is an alpha male, and he just needs to learn how to play with other stars in a way.
Yeah.
But, the Lakers, the Nets, I'm kind of surprised about. Harden's off to a slow start. He's averaging like 18, 8, and 7. Those numbers for him are never like that. But I think they'll be fine too. Hopefully, I think they need Kyrie more than people. They need Kyrie more than people think, but I think they'll be fine as well. But as of now, those are the only 2 teams that I really, kind of shocked that are off the slow starts. The Blazers haven't looked that good either. I think they should, get as much as they can for Dame now. But we'll see. They're never going to win the title. And I know Dame wants to stay loyal to the city, but it's just I know you're going to be that. He's always been that solid, loyal to his own life, but I think he has to make that business decision to get him, that chip to enhance his legacy. He's a respected player, but his legacy would be even bigger if he had a chip behind it. Yeah. But as of now, those are my three teams: the Blazers, the Nets, the Lakers, and then I'm slightly surprised by the Warriors, but I'm not.
Okay. Well, I know you want to maybe talk about your Magic a little bit. Is there any teams, or before I guess you can talk about your Magic, is there any like teams or players? Because I'm gonna get into some players as well, but any teams or players that may have surprised you coming out the gate that look maybe a little bit better than you expected?
No, not really. I'll stick to my Magic. I was a little skeptical about our draft pick, Wagner, because his brother, when the Lakers picked him up, I liked him, but he didn't, really pan out. But he seems to be the better version of the two, the two siblings. So him and Jalen Suggs seem to be two quality draft picks. I know it's really early, but I like what I see in the team. We have the youngest starting lineup age-wise in the league. So, it can only be up from here. Like when your age average is 21 years old in the league of grown men, I think we'll be fine over time. We have a lot of raw talent, but stuff takes time. So I'm not going to overreact. I'm not expecting us to be an 8 seed anytime soon. So it's a rebuilding process. But I like what I see. I've been watching the past couple of days, and we got a dub off our Knicks if Chris is watching. Or Urson.
Urson, Edgar, Chris. I know they were watching. I know one of them just liked the post, so I definitely know one of them is in tune. But yeah, they did get a win off the Knicks. And shout out to Kenneth too as well. I know he's a Lakers fan. He popped in. He says that just to so he doesn't lose his sanity. But yeah, we all kind of knew what it was in the beginning. Big names, and names that got to adjust. Like all these at one point, like you said, they were alpha males. They were the guy on their own teams. And within recent years, they've realized that they've had to conform or at least change their game up a little bit, especially if they're going to team up and play with other guys. We've seen the beneficial or not beneficial. We've seen the I guess the reaction of Russ. The game before, he scores 33. I think he has a double, but next game has a quadruple double with turnovers. So it's like he's still finding his way, still finding his place. And it's going to be even tougher, of course, when LeBron's inserting back in the lineup. But I think about around the 20-game mark, they should find their stride a little bit. I think everybody's just kind of finding their roles, getting their defined roles as well. And they still got a lot of players hurt. Like they got Trevor Ariza hurt. They got Kendrick Nunn hurt. Like it's guys that's going to be playing valuable minutes that just haven't touched the lineup yet as well. So that's going to help cut down on maybe, I guess what a lot of these guys feel like they have to do at this moment in time to compensate for the guys that they're missing. But yeah, like that. The one thing that's kind of funny to me, and I'm going to read these names off to you real quick. Well, I'm going to read them off to you afterwards, after I guess I say what I got to say. But it's funny that, like, in the offseason, everybody kept talking about the rule change and, who it was going to affect. And everybody kept saying Trey's name. And Trey's numbers have pretty much been there. But they've been consistent. Like, he has to, he can get better percentage-wise, shooting-wise. But other than that, like, it hasn't really affected his scoring and what he does that much at all. And the one guy, I mean, some people probably did say it would affect Harden a little bit, but I don't think his name was the one that was pushed down the forefront of when all of this was, being talked about. And to see him kind of struggle, like I forgot to look up his numbers, but he hasn't gotten to the line much at all. I think within the last two games, I know it's been under 10 free throws he shot for sure. So it's crazy to see like everybody talking about the rule change affecting certain guys, but it's really affecting these other superstars. Even though I know he was one of them that they talked about, but he just has to find his way, I guess, find offensively his rhythm. And like you said as well, they're missing Kyrie more than they think because that's just another ball handler. He takes the ball out of his hand a little bit more, so he doesn't have to always, even though people consider him a point guard, he doesn't always have to handle the rock. He can shuffle off some of that responsibility to Kyrie sometimes as well, so you can be the setup guy or whatever the case may be. So that's pretty funny in my opinion. But shout out to Zach Noble. I read his tweet earlier. These are some of the guys that they said that are struggling, and I can definitely see that. I just wanted to see your opinion on kind of like what you think about it, because there's two guys in particular. Obviously, they play on the same team, the Suns team, Devin Booker and Chris Paul. They haven't, I guess, played up to par, at least from what they were playing like this past playoff series. But both of them are kind of struggling. They just lost to the Kings, I think, last night. I guess, what do you think about it with the Suns in general? Like, were you even thinking that they would be maybe a title contender coming back into this year, or you kind of think that was a one-run magic show, and then there's other teams that's probably going to step up and be better and probably take that Western Conference final spot?
I feel like everything that needed to happen last year, happened for them. The injuries on both sides, the Lakers, the Clippers, and that was their run. That was their year to get their one title. And now, with most of the teams in the West eventually getting healthy, Jamal Murray coming back later, Kawhi potentially coming back after like the All-Star break or something like that. Mm-hmm. I just feel like that was their year. They didn't get it done, but they're still a solid team, but they didn't add anything. Like, I never thought they were the best team in the West last year, even though they won, but they were the healthiest team, and that's what matters, when you go out there for the most part. So I'm surprised to see them struggle a little bit. And with the rule change, I am surprised. I'm not surprised to see CP3 falling off not his numbers falling off a little bit, because he's known to, do everything. He knows all the rules in the rule book. He knows how to create any type of foul,
Mm-hmm.
He's not a dirty player, but a smart, clever player. So them finally the refs not having that anymore, I kind of like it. That's not surprising to see his numbers fall off a little bit. But the Suns won't be back. They are a decent team. Solid young team. I hope they would pay DeAndre Ayton, but no, I don't think they'll be back. And I'm not saying last year was a fluke, but it's not their fault that everybody was injured. They won. They play who was in front of them. And they beat who was in front of them until they played the Bucks. So and they would have got a ring if Giannis didn't play. So they might have almost. Last year really was almost their year. The Suns, they're not. I wouldn't even say they're overrated, but they're just not. They're not the best team in the West. And with the Warriors playing better now, I think the Warriors might even be. I'd take the Warriors in a playoff series potentially. So
okay, I feel that. There may be a little small hot take, a little small mic drop. Maybe we'll revisit that. Probably will revisit that, in the coming months. But just some other guys that Zach said that seemed like they're struggling, but that were kind of letting them off the hook. Luka. I've only really seen him play that one game against us, and he did struggle. DeAndre pretty much had him locked up. I think he only scored like 17 points. Bradley Beal, Joel Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, which a lot of people would like. Maybe that's not as fair because he's not really considered a star along with the rest of these who have actually made all-star teams and everything. But I guess I'll see the Knicks play sooner or later. I don't know how badly he's struggling. I know as a whole the team is looking better, at least offensively. So maybe his struggles have flown on the radar because they've been playing a little bit better as a team and been able to put points in the bucket without him because of Kemba and Fournier. But next I guess next something or nothing we got. We talked about it last week. Got to revisit it again this week only because the trade deadline is coming up and it's been talks that there is a deal in place. It's just obviously there's certain things that have to be sorted out, and the NFL is now starting to, I guess, I don't know why now, but they're now going to start trying to take a deeper look into everything, I guess, in order to maybe make this trade official. But something or nothing, like, do you think Deshaun gets moved, and do you think he plays? Like, do you think the NFL is really taking it serious to where they're like, all right, we're really going to dive deep into it so we can get this to get pushed through before next week? Because I think it's next Thursday. I want to say is the deadline, but I'm not too
Tuesday. I think Tuesday. It might be Thursday, but I'm having a brain fart right now. I can't even think. It's Tuesday or Thursday, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely something. This is my guy. Although everything that's going on, the serious allegations on the field, this is my guy. I think it is something. You don't hear all these rumors come out. All this noise, like it came out months ago, then it's came back, and then it's came back again. Mm-hmm. All these rumors don't resurface if people aren't talking. And I think I've seen reports that Deshaun's waived his trade clause for the Dolphins. The Dolphins are willing to pursue him. Like the deal's pretty much done, and they were even asking like Houston, we're not going to keep bidding against ourselves. Like let us know what we need to give up. So they're officially they're out on tour. They're not out on tour, but they are. They're going to do whatever it takes to get this deal done. And I do think the NFL is taking this serious. Like maybe to some people it's not as serious as they want it to be, but the reputation of the league would get crushed if they just allow somebody with 23 or 22 sexual assault, accusations to just hop on the field and play immediately.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that this year he's not going to play, and I think that that's going to be his punishment. Hopefully when the stuff comes out and it's not true, he can, say he would have served his suspension last year. But it's definitely something, and I think by next week it'll happen. You got to get 2 out of there. Like, I know Deshaun's not playing this year, but having him in there, like, you already let him know how you feel about him. You just drafted this guy a year and a half ago, and you already bringing in somebody in to replace him. So you got to get 2 out to let him, to let him fly, to let him grow. But it's definitely something, 100%.
Yeah, I feel that as well. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, just something happens in general because, like I said, the talk it's been literally ongoing for months. And like I said, probably with Tua being in there, like I said, he played okay against us, and he played okay the week prior. Just that they just didn't pull out wins. I mean, he played okay, but like he had very, very bad timely turnovers that either swung the momentum or boosted the other side. Like with us, like they caught an interception, they was right there, maybe on the 20 or 30, on our 20 or 30, and then he throws the interception the next play. So stuff like that it's killing the team. Like I said, maybe even having him in that quarterback is killing, like we said, I don't even know, the team morale, the team camaraderie. Like, so he's played okay, but it's just like it's timely turnovers that is killing them. But like you said, they've already kind of let him know what they feel about him. Even going back to last year, like he's been in and out, he's been inconsistent, he's been in and out the lineup this year with injuries. So, they feel like they're a quarterback away. Deshaun, I feel like you put him on a lot of these teams that's at the bottom of the barrel, they immediately, if not go to the top of their division, like they're somewhere in the middle of the pack of the NFL. So, and that's just saying how talented of a guy Deshaun is. But I think a deal will get done. Like I said, if they are serious, like I said, I should have probably worded the question differently, but the NFL is, serious into looking into this and really moving fast on it to get it done in the next few days, then it's definitely something. I think, like I said, he's going to be a Dolphin by this time next week, and we'll probably be talking about it once more again. But I'm going to say it's definitely something as well. And hopefully it's something that gets resolved very, very soon. But that does it for something or nothing for today. Of course, we're going to move on now to our little college football part. Week 9, and one of the very important games that we have in college football in general, but definitely in the SEC into both Georgia and Florida, is the Georgia-Florida game. It's always played in Jacksonville, your hometown. This year, it looked like first 3 to 4 weeks, it looked like it was going to be a ranked showdown. Didn't know where each team would be ranked and, the implications it would have on the playoffs. But in recent weeks, my Florida Gators have come down to reality. We've lost to Kentucky. We've lost to LSU. Who else we lose to? I forgot we lost somebody else. But
Bama was the first.
Bama. Yeah. Bama was the first loss. But we're playing the number 1 ranked team in the country. It's always a good game no matter what, typically, whoever's ranked where. But playing the number 1 ranked team in the country, a team that doesn't really have many flaws. We have a lot of flaws, especially defensively, and our 2 quarterback system isn't really working anymore. But what do you feel like the outcome would be from this game, the Florida-Georgia game?
Sad to say, the only reason why it will be a game is because it's a rivalry. The adrenaline will be flowing for the first 2.5 quarters, but once that dies down, Georgia will pull away. I do think the game will be closer than people think because I assume that Anthony Richardson will finally get the reins, to the offense. And that guy can do a lot. Like the sky's the limit for him. I think, later down the line, he definitely will be a pro prospect, just tightening up the mechanics and stuff. But everything else, like the arm, the second reaction plays that he makes, he can do a lot. So I could see him making a few plays to keep him in the game. But, Georgia's just dominant. Kirby's going to have those guys ready to play. It's a rivalry game. You guys won last year in not dominating fashion, but it wasn't that close. Like, you guys just threw the ball all over them, and, Georgia predicates himself on defense. So, Kirby will have them guys ready to play, and I see, Georgia with I say a 10-point victory. But hopefully, I don't know what the situation is with JT Daniels. I know that Stetson Bennett has been playing like solid, even against some quality opponents, but I don't know what the rivalry game, the atmosphere will be too much for him. We don't know, but I'm willing to wait and see what Georgia does at quarterback first. But I think it'll be an okay game. But I like Georgia most definitely, 100%. My money's on Georgia.
Yeah, I can see that as well. That defense has just been stifling. Like, I don't even know. It's really nothing else you can really say about it. It's been the best defense from the very first game of the year all the way up to this point. Our offense has had spurts. They've had times where they're able to put up points and move the ball very, very easily. But that's going to be the challenge. are we going to be able to score on this team? Because eventually, like, the Georgia offense isn't the greatest. They're not scary. Obviously, like you said, they're predicated on running. They do have receivers that they can throw the ball to. It's like I said, JT Daniels hasn't been in there. It's been Stetson, which I'm not really afraid of. But all in all, what I'm trying to say is, like, eventually they can score. They'll eventually be able to put points up on the board, whether that's wearing you down, running the ball, and then maybe throwing over top, or maybe, quick short routes, and then, just pounding it towards the end of the game. But regardless, they're going to score, going to put the ball in the end zone. I'm just afraid that we fall behind and we have to start throwing the ball everywhere, or we're doing the 2 quarterback system, and Emory Jones tries to do too much and throws a pick, or even Richardson tries to do too much and throws a pick. But, it's going to be really interesting, just the game plan that we have coming into this, because like I said, defensively, they're stout. And we're going to have to find ways to get the ball in playmakers' hands and score, which, like I said, we have a few playmakers. We got a lot of running backs. Even Richardson, like you said, hopefully he's starting the game out and they give him the reins, because, I think that definitely gives our offense a little bit better look and better dynamic to at least begin the game. I feel like we have to come out starting fast against this team and kind of get them on their heels, or it's going to be over quick, like you said, and it's going to be a blowout, and they're going to be giving us the payback from last year. But I'm definitely hoping, it's a close game, whether we lose or win, because I just want to stir up the college football playoffs. What would the fun be if we see Cincinnati at number 1 next week? Like,
please, no, please,
like that.
No.
That's gonna be wild. People are gonna throw hell. Like, it's gonna be fun to see. It's gonna be fun to see. I'm just hoping that's what my wish is this week, is we upset Georgia, so just to see Cincinnati at number 1 and see everybody in the college football world just go stupid, because they're like, why? Like, this makes no sense. But if they lose, it's gonna happen, and everybody's just gonna have to deal with it. But next game we got up on tap, Ohio State versus Penn State. A ranked game, 20 versus 5, but when the lights come on, it's probably not going to be as close as a lot of people think. What do you think about this one, Thad?
Like Mo said, he doesn't want to be cocky, but I think this game is going to be a blowout. Penn State, they fumbled the bag. They had a home game versus a conference opponent, and before a showdown. And, a lot of people have letdown games, which I understand. It's college football, but can't fumble the bag like that. Lost in one of the worst college football games I've ever watched, even though it went to 9 OTs. It was just poor execution by both sides. And I think Ohio State's just been on a roll. They had their early season loss. C.J. Stroud has some struggles. People wanted to have him benched, have him transfer, ready for the whatever the guy's name is with the hair with the mullet to come in. Ewers to start immediately and stuff like that. But I told everybody to calm down, and he calmed down. He had a week off, and he's been killing it. 22 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He's just been on a roll to where he's not in the Heisman conversation yet, but he's working his way in there. That freshman running back Henderson is a problem. Already 11 touchdowns with a couple of games to go. And then they might have 3,000-yard receivers. So this offense is dynamic. And I know Penn State's defense is okay, but I just think Ohio State gives them a long, long day. And I'm not sure if this game's in the shoe, but if it's in the shoe, man, I think Ohio State wins by 21. Just ever since that Oregon loss and C.J. Stroud has came back from injury, the offense has just been firing on all cylinders. They haven't had a real test yet like they did with Oregon, but this is I'd say their biggest test, since then. So, we'll see. And they have a lot of tests coming up with Michigan State and Michigan. So we'll know a lot about them soon. But I think they roll this week against a Penn State team that had a deflating loss last week.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly like you just said, like a very, very bad college football game, 20 to 18 with 9 overtimes. Like, that's crazy. Like, what are y'all doing? And like I said, to Illinois, they lost to like some mid-major teams, I think. Like, or at least one of the mid-major teams. Like, they lost to some pretty, like, I think 1 or 2 pretty bad teams.
It was a bad loss. That's really
all in all, like I said, just a very, very bad loss. A lot of people, like I said, are expecting them to get swept up this week. And, I'm on that train as well. I think it can easily be a 21-point game, probably by the third quarter. And like you said, Stroud has just played a lot better. Of course, we talk about all the time in the group chat. But just that I guess the quarterback competition, I guess going into next year, like right now, I think he's probably 1 or 2 for the Heisman race. It's probably, like I said,
he's not. I wouldn't say he's 1 or 2 yet, but with a couple more performances against top teams, I think he's up there. Like Corral, I know is up there. Bryce Young is up there, and the guy from Pitt, Pickett.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's floating around there. Like I said, these tests coming up, I guess if he passes, Penn State's looking like it's a dub. Michigan and Michigan State, hopefully they're, if they pull out both of those wins, or if they just win out, like I said, it could be his, trophy to win. But like I said, I just don't think it's going to be much of a competition this week. Like I said, Penn State we thought they were something that they're not, and Ohio State, like I said, they're starting to find their groove at the right time of the year as well. Like I said, with Stroud being healthy, everybody else being healthy as well. So 21-point game, probably minimum. It could get uglier than that. Like you say, if it is an issue. But next, forgot to put the picture up there, but Michigan versus Michigan State, another Big Ten matchup. Number 8 versus number 6. What do you think about this matchup?
It's gonna be a good game, man. This is last time they had a game of this magnitude was the year that Michigan lost off the pump block. I know if you remember that year, 2015 and 2016, but two undefeated teams, a rivalry game. I'm tuned in. It's a noon kickoff, so Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson will have it, and I love how they call the game. But I just think this will be a defensive battle. I know Kenneth Walker's had a special season. The quarterback for Michigan's looked good in spots. His stat line isn't too crazy, but he's won games and he hasn't turned the ball over. So that's really what you need. But I'm just interested. I don't know. I'll learn a lot about both these teams after this week, but I've been watching Michigan State more, and the more I watch them, the more I'm impressed. Kenneth Walker's been killing the transfer from Wake Forest, and Peyton Thorne, the quarterback, he's played solid. He's a young guy. I didn't know. I thought Anthony Russo, the Temple transfer, might take the job, but he ended up winning the job, and quarterback play has been honestly above average. They haven't lost a game, and last year Michigan State was not good, and the year before they weren't very good. So just a step they've taken with Mel Tucker. All the players have seemed to bought in. Connor Hayward has some plays here and there too. So I just think Michigan State is a different team this year. Michigan could be different this year. They could be that 2016 Michigan. I know they're not as good as stacked as that team, but I don't know, man. It's just something about Michigan State this year. They play good football. I know they haven't had too many crazy tests, but they play quality football for the most part, and I think that they found a way to win at home in a close one, 27-24. It's kind of hard for me to talk about this because I haven't watched Michigan as much as I watched Michigan State, but from what I've seen, I like their quarterback and I love their running back. So, and Mel Tucker, he's a defensive guy, so the defense is not going to be no slouch. So I just see, it's hard for me to say his name, McNamara for Michigan, but I feel like he's going to have his first, not long day, but first bad game, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'll go Michigan State 27-24.
Yeah, same here. Like this one's actually my first time, I think, fully really watching Michigan. I watched a few Michigan State games earlier in the year when people thought they weren't going to really be that good, and they start rolling off some wins. But like you said, I think Michigan State's offense has been really fun to watch, really spectacular to watch, and they have one of the, I guess, more explosive offenses in the country this year, which has obviously gotten them to where they are right now. But I think, like I said, I'm gonna take Michigan State as well, just because I've seen more of them and I've seen their offense more. I know Michigan likes to run the ball a lot, and like I said, they have a really nice running back, and their defense has been pretty good this year as well. But I don't know, I'm always just expecting them to fold at some point. Ever since Jim Harbaugh's been there, or whichever the Harbaugh brothers is, like they always have one of these type of tests and matchups, and they always flunder. Like they always get blown out, or something bad just happens. So I'm gonna take Michigan State in this one, but I'm expecting and hoping for it to be a good game. Like I said, it's gonna be my first full time watching like a Michigan game. Like I've seen highlights here and there throughout the year, but I'm going with Michigan State just because I've seen a little bit more of them and I like their offense a lot. So, and the last game we're gonna hit on, Ole Miss versus Auburn, an SEC matchup. Ranked teams, I think 10 and 18. Not gonna have too much, I guess, implications on in anything in the SEC really, or in the playoffs too much either. But should be a fun just SEC matchup, fun bout to watch. So who do you like in this one?
I think this one's easy for me. Auburn's had some good wins. That bounce back win versus LSU was good, but I think that Ole Miss, that offense with Lane Kiffin, we all know Lane Kiffin is a quality offensive mind, and he has a quarterback that can do more than – I don't know if this is his most talented quarterback. I don't know if he's more talented than Jalen Hurts. I don't know, but Matt Corral can do a lot of things that other quarterbacks can do, which allows, Lane Kiffin to open up the playbook. And I just think they've taken off this year. He's only had one turnover the entire year, so he takes care of the ball. And it's not like he's dinking and dunking the ball down the field. He's taking shots, big play. Yeah. He's a big play quarterback. And for him to not really turn the ball over that much says a lot about him. And Lane Kiffin continues to trust him. And I just think their offense is so potent. They don't play much defense down at Oxford, I understand, but Bo Nix is Bo Nix, and he's gonna give you the ball a couple of times. He's gonna turn the ball over one or two times. So,
sure.
Ole Miss, you're not gonna stop them too much, and every down is crucial. So with Bo Nix turning the ball over one or two times, giving that offense one or two extra possession is a recipe for disaster. So I'm gonna go Ole Miss in a sort of a shootout. I'm gonna go. I know this is not an SEC score, but I'm gonna go 40. I'm gonna go 40, 45-31.
Yeah, it could be high scoring like that. And shit, that might be the same prediction I gave when he said Ole Miss's offense has just been rolling. So Matt Corral hasn't made too many bad decisions this year. He's been great, in a lot of spots, in a lot of games for that Ole Miss offense. Auburn, like you said, they were up and down. You really never know what you're gonna get. Like I said, Bo Nix is, I guess, he's played okay. Like I said, and I guess he's played a little bit better since that. The benching and him coming back in and taking over for, I forgot the Tennessee transfer's name, but that quarterback. So I don't know. It's gonna be, like I said, real up and down. It's not SEC score at all, but it's one of those games where Ole Miss offense is gonna be rolling. They don't really have much of a defense. Auburn's gonna be able to find points here and there just because Bo Nix is gonna be able to extend some plays. They're gonna be able to probably get some big plays as well, but just not putting enough quality possessions together in order to bring home a win. But all in all, like I said, it should be a fun game to watch. I'm expecting a lot of highlight plays for sure on both sides, but I'm definitely going with Ole Miss to take this one as well. I think Walker said that. I feel like he said that he feels Auburn's going to win this game this week. I don't really know why.
Yeah, before you move on, I'll add something to that.
Mm-hmm. No, you go.
Oh, okay. I kind of agree. When I was looking at it, like while I was talking, I was thinking, I'm like, I like the score, everything I said, I believe, but I forgot that the game was in Jordan-Hare. And it's just something about like that playing there, like the year that Georgia lost to Bama and the Natty, their only loss was there and they got thumped by Auburn. So that I still have Ole Miss winning, but that high scoring game, I don't think if it was in Oxford, I think it'd be different. But that environment at night, I think they're going to struggle and start off slow.
It's a night game?
Yeah, it starts at 7. So it's going to be tough, man. I could come in here and look completely wrong when we talk about the games next week. But I'm going to stick with Ole Miss. But it's not. I don't think they're going to blow mine. I don't think they put up 45 now that it's in, Jordan-Hare.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it does typically there's a lot of like weird outcomes that is there. And especially at night too, when it's night games. I don't know. It is something about that place, like you said. But I don't know. I still have faith. Like I said, Ole Miss will. I don't know if it'll be that high score, but I think they could put up 30-something for sure. On Auburn, and like I said, it's going to be a good matchup, but I'm still thinking Ole Miss is going to take this one for sure. But that does it for so the college level football preview. Next we got NFL, and I think we always start off with Jeff's power rankings. So I'm going to hit on his power rankings real quick. Of course, to the left is week 7. I know it's kind of hard to see, but to the left is week 7. To the right is week 8. I know we did a show on it 2 days ago, 1 day ago, maybe yesterday. I don't know. It was one of the days. Whenever Jeff dropped them, we did a little show on them. We talked about them. But like I said, is it the same? No, this is different. Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah. Cardinals are still at the top. We got Rams coming in at 2, Bucks at 3, Bills at 4, Cowboys at 5, Packers at 6, Titans 7, Bengals at 8 in a surprising, well, not really that surprising, but a lot of people maybe have second thoughts about it. Bengals at 8, Chargers at 9, and Raiders at 10. And you can see the rest of it. Right now, your Jaguars at 27, I believe.
We didn't move this week.
Yeah, you say y'all gonna move this week?
Yeah, no, I said we didn't move this week, but we're moving this week. Yeah, you're right. You said it correctly.
Moving up, and my Falcons moved up as well. I think we're at 20. I want to say 20 or 21. But what do you think about it? Like I said, you might have taken a peek already at it on Twitter, but. Any places or any teams that you think should be somewhere else, and any team that you're looking or expecting to either move up or down next week?
I like the list. I definitely like the Bengals at 8 because that win, man. I watched that game because I picked the Bengals to cover, So I watched that game and they look good. Like that acquisition of Trey Hendrickson from the Saints. Like I was, people were questioning the money he got, but that D line is looking good, man. I like the Panthers moving down because ever since I know Sam Darnold, I was a believer, but I'm starting to kind of not believe because without CMC, he's just been a shell of himself. It looks like he relied on him a lot. The Jets at 32, I love it, especially without Zach Wilson. I know he hadn't been playing that well. The Cardinals, of course, at 1, and I had 1. I know, man, I understand what you guys are watching. I understand you guys see the Chiefs looking terrible, but I just can't, like, if the playoffs started today, I know they probably wouldn't even be in, but if they were the 7th seed, I'm not taking anybody to beat them yet until they prove me wrong, in a pressure matchup. But as of now, they're not playing that well. So 16 is fine. Just okay with that. The Saints at 13, I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah, that's what I think we talked about a little bit. It's only because I think like they're winning games, they're right there. But it's like I said, they can easily move back. Like you said, even the next 2 weeks, who they play the Buccaneers this upcoming week, and they play us after that. So it's like they can definitely have some fluctuation. But like I said, they're winning the games that's put in front of them. But it just feels like I feel what you're saying because we talked about it. And it feels like they're not supposed to be there because it feels like they've lost more than they have, but they're 4-2. It's really weird. But
it's not pretty, bro. But they're getting the job done. And that win against the Seahawks was an ugly win. Like they won, but without Russ and Geno, I expected them to pull away a little more. But I'll give them cut them a little bit of slack because of the conditions.
Yeah, I feel it as well. I think what was the other thing that we talked about? Oh, well, what's a team that you feel like may move up? Like I know for me, I said, or one team I was watching for this upcoming week, I said the Colts because I feel like they could have won 3 in a row. I feel like they're finding a little bit of a stride. They can beat the Titans this week and they'll be right there still for the division spot. So looking at it real quick, what's one team that you expect to maybe move up or even move back? I think Mo Meyer said he was talking about the Cowboys that they could possibly move back if they lose to Vikings because it puts in a weird spot. Like who are the Cowboys really? Like were they just off to a hot start with the schedule that they were supposed to win against all those teams because they weren't really superior teams besides the Bucks, or are they really the real deal? But what do you think?
Off the top of my head, I honestly was going to take the Colts because they've been playing like I said early on they were going to struggle. Their schedule was hell. They weren't completely healthy, but they stuck in. They didn't get blown out by those teams. And then I knew just eventually, over time, they were going to start easing into it. Carson Wentz was going to start playing better. They should have won the Ravens game, as we all know. And I think they're going to continue to keep winning. Like they're 3-4, but they're nowhere near out of it. They still have to play the Titans again, and their schedule is not cupcake because it's the NFL, but it's not as difficult as others. So the Colts and I think the Steelers are going to. They're 3-3. All right, I'm gonna give a little bold take. It's not even bold, but I gotta stick with my guys. I think the Chiefs are gonna come up. I know they have the Packers and the Cowboys on their schedule coming up, but I think they find a way because if they drop those 2 games and drop 3 and 6, they have the Giants first. So they're gonna win that game. 4 and 6 or 4 and 7. It's not gonna be looking too good and.
Yeah,
and the AFC is going to be tough. But I think the Chiefs, find a way, have a little players-only meeting, something. I don't know what it is. They just need to play defense, and they need to work on executing on offense better. But I just think they find a way to get it together. I can't explain it, but I have this faith in the Chiefs that I can't explain, and I just think that they'll find a way to get it, get it together. Right. I can't see them not being in the playoffs. I can't.
I hope you're right because to me, I don't know. It's just not looking good at all. But who knows? We'll see. And we'll see very, very soon. Like you said, they do have the Giants. So maybe that's a pick-me-up game. Maybe that's the game that turns around the season. Who knows? But
not the Giants. Not the
Giants. Yeah. But
too much respect on them.
Too much. NFL Week 8. Let me get this off the screen real quick. I'll bring it back up later for our pick'ems and everything, but NFL Week 8 starts tonight. Starts probably in about 30-35 minutes, maybe about 30-35 minutes. But Probably one of the better Thursday night football games that we'll get this year. We got the Packers, we got the Cardinals. Unfortunately, I think the Packers are without their top two receivers. But it's still expected to be a pretty good game. Even without those two top receivers, they've won a lot of games in the past. But who do you got for Thursday night football tonight? What do you expect out of this game?
You don't ever bet against A-Rod or doubt A-Rod, but the Cardinals are on a crazy kind of roll right now. This will be their first time being 8-0, I think, in franchise history for sure, because the Cardinals have never been good. So yeah, that's a given. But I think it's going to be tough. Never bet against A-Rod, but with being without your best receiver, and Valdez-Scantling, I saw something earlier today that said he's going to play, but I don't think that'll be, that big of a difference. I think he makes those guys better than what they are. But J.J. Watt being out might, hinder the pass rush a little bit, even though he hadn't done too much. But I just think the amount of weapons the Cardinals have, and they're just playing with confidence. They're feeling good. They're young defensive players are flying around. Isaiah Simmons, who wasn't even getting snaps in some games last year early on in the season, is one of their best young playmakers. Buda Baker's a stud. Byron Murphy's filled in that cornerback one role very, very nicely. And I just think they're rolling right now. Kyler Murray's playing on the MVP level as I've always thought he was capable of, even, high school, college. He's just always been a good quarterback. He's never not been elite. And I just think that find a way to continue to roll. Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith haven't played like they did, about a year or two ago. And I just think if you can't pressure Kyler Murray, you let him sit in the pocket, but even if you rush him, he's going to find a way to get out the pocket and extend plays. And I just think the Packers are going to have a long day. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have his number one guy, so he's going to struggle a little bit offensively. And the Packers always have this one game. I know they had it with the Saints, but they have 1 or 2 games per year where they just play completely flat, and with it being a short week, I could see the Cardinals jumping on them. Yeah. But I'm not going to do that to A-Rod. I have the Cardinals winning, but only by 10. I wanted to say it was going to be a complete blowout. Like they run them off the field, but it's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to make some timely plays to keep his team in the game.
Yeah.
And, Aaron Jones is gonna come up big tonight. Yeah. I think he's going to have a day.
Yeah, they still got some playmakers. Maybe it's one of them times. Hope Amari Rodgers steps up. Maybe Randall Cobb shows that veteran leadership and he pulls through and helps, pick up the receiving slack as well. Maybe it's a Tanya night. Who knows? But like you said, it's definitely the chips are stacked against the Packers, no doubt. Like I said, I wouldn't bet against A-Rod either, but like you said, you're out without your 2 top receivers. That's definitely gonna be tough against a Cardinals defense that plays pretty good. That's been playing pretty good defense, like you said. They have a decent pass rush. They got a pretty good secondary and or linebacking crew as well. So I don't know. It may, like I said, it may not be too much of a can Aaron Rodgers, score against that defense. It's going to be, like you said, the Cardinals have been red hot on offense, and the Packers defense just hasn't really been that good in the last few years. So it may come down to the Cardinals offense just putting up points, A-Rod having to compensate for that terrible defense and not being able to because you don't have no weapons out there to kind of help him. But like I said, who knows? Tanya may step up. Jones may step up. The other 2 receivers I named may step up. So who knows? It's should be a good game. I'm hoping it's still a good game because, like I said, it sucks to be robbed out of a Thursday night football game that actually is going to be good. But I still think the Cardinals probably take this one as well. I think it'll be close though. Even with the weapons out, I think it may be maybe a touchdown game. Cardinals score at the end. A-Rod tries to lead them, but can't do it because he doesn't have the full weapons. But I'm gonna still take the Cardinals in this one. Maybe like 27-20, something like that. But
if anybody can, keep the game close and win a game like this without their number one receiver, is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, he's done it before. I think their record is 6-0 without Devontae Adams. Like I know. Yeah, they haven't changed too much on offense. Yeah, their offense hasn't because they haven't really added or subtracted too many people either. So it's a possibility. Like I said, if there's one guy you want to get it done in those conditions, it's definitely him. But it's not really too many games this week. That's crazy. Like that's going to be crazy good. Like I tried to pick some of them out, but I know we're going to talk about them in the Pick Ems as well. So we can probably just hit on them real quick. Colts, Titans, like I said, is one I kind of alluded to with just power rankings. Kind of what do you previewing this one? What do you expect to see?
This is the week where the Colts closed the gap. They're about 2.5 games back. Last time they played, they could have won the game. Carson Wentz was coming off that game where he got hurt with the 2 ankles and stuff, so he wasn't 100%. I just think the Colts are playing quality football. I know the Titans are coming off a big win, but I think that this game being in Indy and their division rivals, they're going to split. I don't see these two teams. They're too evenly matched, in my opinion, for one to sweep the other. And I think the Indy's got it going. They're giving Jonathan Taylor the ball a little bit more. They're mixing in, they're running the pass. And Michael Pittman, who I had as one of my breakout guys for the AFC South, is finally not emerging into a number one, but emerging into a reliable target. With Zach Pascal and T.Y. Hilton being out, he stepped up big last week. And I just think that Titans secondary is bad, and Carson Wentz will take advantage, even though they don't have the best receivers. But, the Colts hadn't played their best all season, but last week they made some timely turnovers. Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner, people like that. Kenny Moore making plays. And I think that they'll force Ryan Tannehill into a turnover or two. And I think that, it's a division game. So you know how these division matchups go. You don't usually sweep the other team. It's always a close game. And I think that the Colts just find a way to win this week and find themselves back at 500. And it's a whole new season with 9 games left. So I like the Colts in a close one. I wasn't going to say 2017, but I respect those offenses a little bit too much. So I'm going to go 27-24.
Yeah, I see that. I can see that as well. Because I'm hoping they close the gap as well. So just to make that division, a little bit more interesting. I know the Colts are one of the teams that we expected a lot from this year. They had a tough schedule, a lot of tough injuries to begin, but it seems like they're maybe starting to find a little bit of a role. Like I said, they should have won 3 games in a row for sure. But let one get away from them in the Ravens game. But they put 2 quality back-to-back wins together, even though they were against, not the greatest of opponents. I guess San Francisco was okay, but not the greatest of opponents. But this one, like you said, is a divisional game. Should be very close. Should be a very fun battle. Defense is starting to look a little bit better. Offensively, like you said, Pittman's definitely stepping up and something, and they need it too. And Jonathan Taylor's looking like he might actually be statistically, he might be a top 3 to 4 running back right now in this year. So as long as they continue to try to feed him the ball, at least. I know they had that one game they only gave him the ball maybe once or twice in that first half, but things are seeming like they're rolling for the Colts. I think they match up pretty well against the Titans as well. So definitely should be a fun battle. I don't know. I really don't know. I've been going against the Titans the last few weeks. I think the last 2 weeks, I think I'm going against them. But, I feel like the Colts everything is just, their momentum is there. Like it's picking up. I know the Titans are coming off a big win, obviously, against the Chiefs. But I think the Colts may take this one, like I said, in a real close one. It may come down to the end, maybe a field goal, with time expiring type game. So I'm gonna take the Colts in this one as well. Maybe like not even 30. Nah, I think it'd be a low scoring actually. It'd probably like 21-20 or even like 24-20, something like that, or 24-21 actually, because they would have to make the field goal and to win the game. But next we'll hit on this last little game, and then we'll talk some in our pick ems. But one I just had to pick out is weird because we haven't talked about it. Obviously, Baker was out, and Casey Keenum came in and won the game for the Browns against the Denver Broncos last week. I don't know if he's slated to play or start this week, but it just kind of goes into a lot of people's tale that Casey Keenum could be right in Baker's spot and still win the game. He even did it without Kareem Hunt and
both of them. Yep.
Yeah, did it without Kareem Hunt and I don't know why his name's escaping me. Nick Chubb. Yeah.
Oh, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, yeah.
Yeah. He did it with Dearness Johnson. So Steelers versus Browns. What do you think this matchup? It's another rivalry AFC matchup. What do you think about this one?
I wanted to say if Baker plays, they win easily, but I think the Browns win regardless. The Steelers, maybe they've gotten a little bit together defensively, but offensively, Big Ben's not going to get any better. Like where he's at is where he's at. And I honestly think they have a solid group of receivers. Like if this was a couple years ago, I think they'd be fine. But Big Ben is just not the same, and I just don't think that they'll be able to get the job done on the road. Cleveland defense is getting a little better week by week. And, if they pressure him, he can't move. He's not going to be as accurate. He's going to want to get the ball out quicker. He's going to want to give up on a play quicker. And I just think the Big Ben has a long day, and the Browns win easily. And like you said, bro, that showed that also that Case Keenum, could get the job done, but their offensive line is the real deal. and that their run scheme and their run game scheme, the creativity of their running plays is elite because you just throw a guy in there that was in the DMs of the Alliance League teams asking like for a tryout, not even asking. Like he wasn't even on the team. He had to beg just to, get his foot in the door. And for him to come in his first start and run for 100 yards just shows that Stefanski and that Browns O-line is a real deal. Shout out to him too, because he has to run the ball, but some nice holes he had.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, putting up a buck, I think like a $140 or something like that. It was close to that.
$120 something.
Yeah, so real close. But like you said, definitely that Browns the offensive line is something crazy. But I don't know. Like you said, you pretty much put it perfectly. We know what the Browns are going to give you offensively, especially like you said, well, we know what they're going to give you offensively. They're going to try to run the ball. They throw it if they have to, especially if Casey Keenum has to be in, even when Baker is in. But, offensively for the Steelers, like you said, I guess they don't really have much of an option. I don't know if Dwayne Haskins would be any better, but, Big Ben's just not going to get you to where you need to be at. I know they've put together, I think, a few wins these past weeks as well, but, I think their ceiling is capped because their quarterback is capped. They can't do much else. But, it should be a good battle just because it's a divisional game. And we'll probably just see a lot of running. I mean, even the Steelers can't even run the ball. Like, their offensive line is trash. And Najee Harris really has to just make stuff up for himself. But I don't know. It definitely should be an interesting game. Pick Ems, I'm still undecided. I really don't even know which direction to go. Like I said, whether Baker plays or not, I don't even think that has much of a deal for me. Like I think honestly, I think the Steelers are just gonna mess up more than the Browns do. So I think that's why I feel like I'll pick the Browns to take it. But who knows? This one could be a toss-up in my opinion. Because even though they got it done, Browns didn't look that great last week. I mean, they did play Denver, who hasn't been looking good either. But definitely be an interesting game. I'll probably end up going with the Browns. But like I said, we'll finish it off, do our pick 'ems real quick. Let me put them on the screen, see the teams and matchups that play. Oh, wrong one still. There we go. Oh, actually, talk about the ones from last week. Last week, this is the overall. We both went 9-4. I think we've flip-flopped one or two games. But both went 9-4. So score overall didn't change. I still have a 4-game lead, I believe. But like that I said last week, he's trying to catch me slow and steady. We still got 7 weeks left now?
No, 9 more than
9.
Yeah.
I'm about to say I said 10 last week, so yeah, it's 9 left this week, including this week. But like I said, let me put the games up on the screen. We got Green Bay and Arizona. I think we both went with Arizona. But like I said, you can rattle off the rest of your picks for the week. You can see them. If not,
I can see them. This is like, I'm not gonna lie. This week is tougher, in my opinion. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm gonna go Falcons. You guys are looking okay. You guys haven't really beat anybody too hot, but on a slight win streak, and the Panthers are going the opposite direction. I know they have talent on the defensive side of the ball for sure, but they just can't do anything offensively right now. So I'm gonna rock with them. Obviously, I'm going Buffalo, Miami. Tua's playing for himself right now. I know he's playing for the team, but he's playing to show like that he can, he's playing for his next team. So Buffalo, easy. This is a tough one. Chicago doesn't look good. Justin Fields doesn't look good in my opinion, but San Fran didn't look that well. And in the rain, I'm gonna go San Fran because Chicago's offensive line is abysmal, and Justin Fields is, how he said the game is moving too slow. It's not moving that fast. It's moving a little too fast for him right now. So I'm gonna go with San Fran. Cleveland, easy. All right, man. This is a tough one. I might change it, but I think that Detroit gets their first win this week. They've been in a lot of close games. Philly hasn't played the best, and I think that Dan Campbell, they play for him. They play hard for their coach.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think they finally pull it off. They lost a walk-off to the Ravens, and then they lost a walk-off to the Vikings. Quality teams they should be. So I think they finally get a dub against a Philly team that hasn't played that well. We both said Indy. Since he looks good, man, Mike White, shout out to him, Western Kentucky. But since he looks good and their pass rush is coming, so you're going to have a long day, my brother. The Rams need to talk about this when they're going to run through the Texans. D-Hop and Deshaun are not there anymore, so this is going to be a good game. LA, the Chargers and the Patriots last year when they played, I don't know they score exactly, but it was 49 or 50-0. Like this was Herbert's worst game as a pro. One of his only bad games of his rookie year. And New England's not playing as bad as like with the talent they have on their roster. They're not playing that bad. Their roster is not that talented, especially offensively. But Herbert, coming off a bye week, if I'm not mistaken, and before that they got ran through by the Ravens. So I think they bounced back at home. But this will be a good game. Got the home team in the Seahawks. I think, with Geno, we've been playing better. I know the 12th man is a 12th man, but my boy Trevor goes in there and gets his first big dub. I just don't think that Geno is good enough to put up enough points, even though our defense is atrocious, and he'll give us the ball one time. So I think we squeak out a win against the 12th man. It's not a good win because Seattle's not good without Russell Wilson, but it's a good win for us because any other year we weren't going to win it.
Any win's a good win for our squads.
Yeah, it's sad to say. Man, this one's a tough one too. Like these games aren't the best record-wise, but the matchups are pretty close. Like Denver and Washington are both disappointments. Denver started off 3-0. Washington was supposed to win their division, had its top 3 defense, and that is not the case. But I might change my mind on this one, but I got to go with my boy Heineke. Teddy Bridgewater has not been playing that well. He's just an average quarterback. He's not gonna lose you the game, but he's not gonna win you the game. And I think that the pass rush finally shows up a little bit. I know it's gonna be tough with the altitude, tough for them to breathe. Be relentless, but I think they find a way to force a couple turnovers, and my guy Heineke gets the job done. And I would if they had Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler, I'd be like they're finna run bombs over Baghdad or Washington, but they're not there. So the secondary will be safe for this week. Tampa, New Orleans. It's not going to be quick because I don't want to be disrespectful to my guy Jameis. I have Tampa, but it's going to be a close game. They're not going to run through him. He circled this game. I know he circled the one in Tampa more than any of them, but going against his old team, he's going to give him a little show. And I know the Saints, they're 4-2. Jameis is not throwing for as many yards, but you just got to realize what receivers or tight ends do they have that will start on any other roster. Like Traquan Smith, Callaway, they're not starting for anybody. Trapman, they're not starting for anybody. The only person who will start on their offense is their line and AK. So what he's having to deal with, Drew Brees didn't have to deal with that. He had Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Thomas for a little bit, and he had Jared Cook. So what he's doing with those weapons is, I think people should give him a little slack. But I'm going to go Tampa in a close one by 3. But I wouldn't be surprised if New Orleans gets the dub. Minnesota and Dallas, this is not really an upset to me. Minnesota's a solid team. Their record is they're 500, and they could easily be above 500. They're at home, healthy. Receivers look good this year, man. I know Dallas defenses look good, but I don't know if they're going to be able to handle the duo of Thielen and Jefferson. So I like Minnesota by 3 in a good game to close Sunday night. And the last game of the day, we're not going to spend too much time. My boy is mad. My man's is mad at people. We got people off the ball talking about he might be top 10. So he's going to shut all y'all folks up. I know it's the Giants, but Chiefs by 21.
Chiefs by 21.
Yeah, I'm just being disrespectful.
Pass the sticks.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And like you said, I'm like, while you was rattling them off, I'm like, dang, there are some tough matchups. Like you said, record-wise, they're not the greatest, but it's like, it's either these teams are pretty good. It's like all the middle of the team roads are playing against each other. All the bad teams are playing against each other, or at least bad record-wise and how they're playing right now. And then, like, we have a few decent games, like tonight. Like I said, I'm going with Green Bay. I'm going with Arizona again. Got to go with the hometown squad. Like you said, Falcons are trending up. We play our third bad team in a row. We should be able to get it done. And we're at home. Buffalo, Miami, definitely got to go with Buffalo. What's that? San Fran and Chicago, right?
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
It's tough.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with Chicago. I think you went with San Fran, right? I'm gonna go with Chicago. I expect, hopefully, I don't think it's gonna really happen, but maybe it's at home. Maybe he gets some type of spark, some type of magic. Maybe him and Allen Robinson get on the same page. Maybe something happens for him. But I'm gonna go Chicago. They're at home. It's just a tough one. I want to go. Oh man, I want to go with Pittsburgh. I don't really know why. I don't know what's telling me to go with Pittsburgh, but I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh.
Yes, sir. I need that. We need different picks.
We do need different ones. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. Something's telling me they're gonna win this game. The Browns just aren't. They're not doing it for me. Like I said, they're getting it done the best way they know how. But I think Kareem Hunt and Chubb are still on still on IR, or one of them is supposed to come back. I don't know which one's supposed to come back. Probably Kareem Hunt, but I still think that Pittsburgh gets it done some way somehow, even on the road. I don't want to go. I'm gonna go with Philly because Detroit has burnt me too many times. The 2 weeks in a row, I thought they were gonna win. They got destroyed, so I'm gonna go with Philly.
No, I feel you.
I'm gonna go with Philly on this one. I'm gonna go with Indy. I'm gonna take the Colts, just because like I said, I have faith that they'll win at home against Tennessee, and just start to close the gap. Cincinnati, nothing else needs to be said there. Rams, nothing else needs to be said there. I'm gonna go with New England. Oh dang, Chargers are at home. Oh,
they don't discriminate, Bill. But they play they're gonna play the same regardless.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. That was a tough one. That was a tough one. Last time I picked the Chargers, they burnt me, I think. So, oh no, I did. I picked the Ravens that week. I was about to pick the Chargers though, so I don't know. But they are coming up a bye week. They should have time to regroup, get better, and be ready to face New England. But New England is coming up a pretty monster game. I don't know if that rolls over. Maybe that type of they get some confidence. Mac Jones gets some confidence, and they go in there and beat the Chargers. I'm gonna go with New England. Dang, I'm gonna pick against you a lot this week. Okay, I'm going with New England. They should pull out a dub. Jacksonville. Who y'all play against? Seattle. Yeesh. I might lose my lead this week. I'm over here tripping. I'm just picking a bunch of different games.
But then again, you can be up 9 or 10. So
yeah, you're right. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville though, because I picked Seattle last week and they burnt me. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville. I think, like you said, you guys are playing better. Trevor may be able to pull this one out. It'll be like a field goal winning game. Oh my God, Washington versus who they play again? Oh, Denver. Oh shit. I'm just gonna go with the home team. I'll go with Denver. They burnt me last week too, but I'll go with Denver. Tampa, New Orleans. I'm gonna go with Tampa. Dallas, Minnesota. I want Minnesota to win, but I'm gonna go with Dallas. I feel like I'm not gonna say they're the real deal, but I think they've shown enough to where they'll be able to pull off this type of win on the road. Like I said, even though they should have lost, they had a lot of opportunities to lose. They pulled out one against New England, and I kind of see this as a similar situation for some reason. So I'm gonna go with Dallas in this one, and then Kansas City. I just can't pick the Giants. There's just nothing that's telling me to pick the Giants. So
do it for your pot.
Nah, Kansas City gonna win this one. Like I said, they gotta get back on track some way somehow. Like this is the pick me up game. I know we've been talking about. There's a lot of pick me up games. This is the pick me up game. This is the one where you start to turn your season around. You put some wins together. So got a few different ones. I think about at least 4 different ones at the very least. So yeah, man. Like I said, I don't think there's anything else we didn't hit on today. But is there any last words, any last things before we head out of here? Pretty good show. So we hit on everything. I know the Braves don't play now. They play tomorrow, right?
Yeah, the entire weekend, Friday through Sunday.
Yeah. Braves play tomorrow, so hopefully they pull out at least 2 to 3 of those wins. If they do have to go back on the road, if they get it done here, that would be lovely. But because it's going to be definitely tough going back to Houston and stealing one. But anything that we missed today?
Nah, man, great show. Not as long as the other shows, but we hit on a lot of good things. Sports is at an all-time high right now. You got the World Series. Basketball's finally back. For your hockey lovers, you got hockey back, and you got football. So it's a great time for sports, and, we'll be back again next week with another great episode. So you guys stay tuned.
Of course. Like I said, maybe even try to bring some people on, maybe bring them in for some segments. I know Jerg, he said hockey's back. We did an episode with him last year. Definitely trying to get more in tune with it this year. Maybe bring some basketball guys on to talk about some things going on in the NBA early on, and always gonna hit on some football stuff. But definitely, like I said, great show as always. shout out to everybody on Off the Ball Network, giving us a platform to speak. Shout out to our sponsors as well, MyBookie and Ice Shaker. Always got to give them a shout out. Definitely go to their websites, use the promo codes Off the Ball, and you say win big with us. MyBookie, we got a lot of people that bet on the network, so definitely read the articles. Go to offtheballnetwork.com, read the articles, bet against or bet with whoever they say to go with, and then you'll win some money for sure. I know, like I said, Kenneth is in the plus. Say it out loud. He's in the plus as well. Dad, I know you do a little bit of betting as well.
Bovada is my friend right now.
You still gotta tell me about that, like how to bet on it. But I'm gonna start getting into it as well. I need to give me some cash, maybe some money in this sports betting world. But that does it for us today. Hopefully everybody enjoyed our intro as well. We'll probably do a giveaway coming up soon. I know it's the first time we dropped it. Maybe I'll drop it again later and make everybody guess everybody that's either everybody's name or everybody that is incorporated in the video. So definitely looking forward to that. So maybe get out a gift card or something as well. But that does it for us today. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate all the retweets and likes. And we'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one.